Greetings, vloggers, bloggers, followers, and potters. Dustin here from Dustin's Dynasty. Here at you again this week with another vlog for you. So this week's been quite busy. It's been quite challenging. Many times we like to think of things, we like to overthink and overreact to things. But we learn that in life, it's more so, catastrophic thinking, per se, and that's more of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about catastrophic thinking. And for me, I've always experienced catastrophic thinking. um I tend to blow things to the go to the fifth or sixth problem, you know um all the time, and not think just of what's in the current moment, or what can I do, or what, or what I feel. So, I think that's very important, in the autism community. I think to recognize and be aware of. Um, Excuse me. I just think, it's just very important because we often are in judgment or in holding as an autistic person, being holding of thinking of those words that, what's going to happen if we do this, or we can't do that. And our body just goes in that flight mode, for me, and anyway, into that extreme super flight mode. And it just wants to shut down and avoid everything and get out of the way. Today I want to share with you my background that I have. It is a very unique background, virtual background. It is of the bridge by my house. And if you've been following me the last few months, I'll try to include some links in the detailed text above to some of the clips, thanks to the videos where I've talked about the bridge. But this is the bridge near my house, and it connects to other parts of the town. And as you see, they've been working on it. They're just right now at this point. We're 2 months into the construction process, just about, not even 2 months, and they're demolishing the old bridge, which was built in 1974, and and it has had some issues. Has been a victim of flooding about 6 years ago. Next month, obviously my house was not flooded then, and I didn't live on my own at the point, but that this area was not affected where I live. But um, it was at 1 inch of water was all that was left on the bridge. So obviously, funds have come available through the state, and they're going to replace the bridge, and hopefully in November. But as you see right behind my right shoulder, if you're looking at me, we got our temporary bridge put up this week. And you know, it's always been a challenge for me, in life, to navigate the construction zone. It's very challenging. There's noises. You don't know what's going to happen, and it really kept me, I feel personally, from being able to get out and do things in that community that used to love. Um, it was part of the problem, not 100% of the problem, but it was the start of it. It was the continuance of it. Ever since the pandemic started over 2 years ago, I struggled to get out of the house as much, and not wanting to go out, and just feeling more comfortable at home. Those kind of feelings. Um, once I I'm starting to ease out a little better, but it's still difficult, and this bridge hopefully will make it easier to do so. And it seems like it's at a safe distance from where the construction is happening. So hopefully that's one anxiety issue that I feel that will be conquered for the next several months. Um, but let's get back into the focus of overreacting. So sometimes being autistic, when we're told things, or we're, things are told to us, we instantly jump to 10. And when I say that is, we don't think of steps one, two, and three right away. We go right from one. We don't think of one. We don't think of two. We don't think of three. We think of the worst possible scenario in a situation. We think, how bad is it going to be? What is the worst possible scenario that is going to happen in this situation? And it's just, it's so ridiculous when you think about it. But to us, as an autistic person, that we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that. And it's just one of the worst things. And my therapist made a little piece of paper here that's next to my computer that I put up a few years ago. And when we were instituted going back in person for session, and it says this is just my body overreacting, and reality is not that bad. And it really isn't. And but in our mind, it's just so consumed with fear and anxiety and just what can go wrong. It focuses on what too much of what's can go wrong. And I want to talk a little bit about why my brain kind of thinks like, why can it go wrong? Why does it go wrong? And it goes wrong because I think of all the things that go wrong because I've been constantly, and this has been a recent discovery in therapy, but it's the recent, I've been told for 37 years that everything in my life, all the wrong things, all the things I've done wrong in my life, very little positive feedback, And granted, there's nothing wrong with my loved ones. They did what was best. They did what they were taught. They were all, there was not as much person-centered planning, not as much positive influences. That's partly on the system for over 30 years and 30 years of being in the system, of learning, that we always saw the problem. We never saw the positivity out of it. And so to train your brain to get back into that positive, mindset of thinking is quite difficult. It's very challenging. It's very difficult. I don't know. It's a new nuance, to things, but when you think of something or when something is told to you and you jump 10 steps without thinking, what's the good thing in it? What can be the best thing possible in it? It's always thinking the worst. It's always, going from A to B and A to Z, I'm sorry. And it's just it's so difficult. So some things, they're viewed as they're just viewed as horrendous. And we think in black and white, so that doesn't really help us either when we're autistic. And we can't judge how bad something is. We can't grade it. And I think what I've done recently is use a feelings journal and wrote down, graded those feelings as they come into my brain and how I process them. How and are they conquered? Are they are they feeling good? Are they happy? And how are they working? you know, um, it makes us more intense and more distressed. And sometimes it's a minor irritation, but we'll react to it with intense feeling or great feelings, or we'll feel like it's the worst damn thing ever. And I'm sorry if I said that, but that's the truth. Though we feel that they'll be forever, we feel that, this problem's never going to go away and it's never going to, go away. And we get these intense emotions of anger, frustration, sadness, all these things combined in a myriad of problems just flow. And sometimes, to be honest, I take it out on my mother because, she is my number one person in my life. And I hate to say that. I feel bad saying that because my mother is my number one person, and she supports me in many things. She does really many things for me, and sometimes she doesn't see the whole picture of it being as me seeing it as if it is that bad. We don't know how you're in my brain. You don't know how horrible it is and how dangerous, but you have to acknowledge it. And I think that's the big thing. You have to acknowledge it and you have to see what can be done to it. Is it really that bad? Is it, just like that sign, is it really that bad that it can't be fixed and it can't be done? It's just that thing. And you need that space. Oh no, you need that space to express your feelings. You need that time for music. You don't need to add to the flavor. You don't need that reaction. If you bring in that negative energy, it's just going to come down with you. And, I think that's the thing. Sometimes when things happen and changes happen as they have happened last week or, yesterday, sometimes people like to bring you down in their misery and it can be hurtful and you want to react, but sometimes that's not the place to do it. Sometimes the place to do it is in your own private space, your own safe space, and you do it in your safe space and you don't cause reaction to others. You channel it in your own ways, whether that's journaling, meditating, anything kind of like that. You try to make it work for you and how you make it work. Um, I'll be talking about it in my wellness, Mr. D's wellness vlog this week about meditation and how that has helped me in the past few weeks. Help me get better at getting out in the days and getting out and fighting the challenges that are fighting ahead and doing the things that I need to do to get out there and do the right thing. And not react adversely to people's reactions. It's hard to believe that, I over almost a year ago, and it'll be 2 weeks, it'll be a year, 50 weeks ago, I reacted to something in a day program that was very rough, and I don't think it related, but there was just all these things were mounting, and I kind of reacted very negatively. And I've been thinking about that a lot this month, and especially as we approach week 50 of that, I don't ever want to do that again. And so I have to learn that I can't take things like that. When I cause that wanting to overreact or overthink, I can't take it out on others. It has to be my thing, and I have to own it. I have to work on it. I have to address it on my own. I can't make others who are in eyesight or earshot being incapacitated by my reaction that is not always the pleasant or always the most appropriate. And there are things that you must endure in life, and as such, becoming frustrated or taking that frustration out on others because you're frustrated, and it just feeds into the energy and bounces off and adds more fuel to the fire. So you don't want to do that because it's just going to make things worse for everything. And so you have to, I know it's hard. As an autistic person, know it's hard. I want to channel, I want to get angry, I want to get upset, I want to spew off my emotions. But sometimes you have to channel them in your own personal ways that are helpful for you and that you can do it. Okay, so I want to thank you for listening today. I was my little spiel about catastrophic thinking and overreacting. So I think sometimes we do that because we think of the worst thing and then we overreact. So it's kind of like why I did that, kind of overreacting, overthink. It's kind of like catastrophic thinking and overreacting because they kind of work hand in hand. And we think of the worst, and we just can't, and then we get those feelings, and it's just not a good thing. So with that being said, I want to thank you again for listening. Be sure to tap the notification bell if you want to hear more notifications. Be sure to like this video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dustin's Dynasty, Pinterest and TikTok at Dustin's Dynasty ASD, on the web at DustinsDynastyUSA.com. This vlog is simulcasted as a podcast on Spotify as a video and other platforms as a podcast. I want to thank you for listening and have an awesome weekend, everyone. Enjoy your weekend and enjoy your summer.